Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sri Lanka's first ever media festival, hosted by the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association, or as we call it, the SLIMFA. Now, this event brings together journalists, editors, content creators, publishers, newsroom leaders, and media students for an engaging and insightful experience. We operate under the theme Navigating the New Media Landscape Together. The festival will explore contemporary media trends and innovations. Key focus areas will include AI in journalism, media journalism, mobile journalism, media monetization, data journalism, disinformation and fact-checking, content creation, podcasts, and audio journalism. Now, this event will feature panel discussions, we will have workshops, interactive sessions, and networking opportunities, and providing a platform for professional development and fostering collaboration between media professionals from Sri Lanka and India.
Well, at this juncture, Siobhan, I think it's very important to speak about SLIMFA as well. SLIMFA, inaugurated in May 2024, was established with the intention of strengthening media ties between Sri Lanka and India. Since its inception, the association has conducted multiple initiatives, including panel discussions and roundtables focusing on key media-related topics. So this evening, ladies and gentlemen, will mark the inauguration of what we hope will become an iconic event that will become a premier gathering of media professionals of the region. So a warm welcome to each and every one of you on behalf of the organizers. Whilst tonight's theme is one of celebration, we seek everyone's attention now to a moment of remembrance in solidarity. We have all seen the horrifying visuals of the dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam, in Jammu and Kashmir. Our thoughts are with the families of the victims. Separately, Sri Lanka's media industry has benefited by several pioneers in print and electronic journalism who are no longer with us today. May we request everyone to please rise and observe 2 minutes silence in remembrance.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Ambitious kings and skilled craftsmen built vast kingdoms that are etched in our history. These structures were built with enduring materials and envisioned by brilliant engineers. This heritage has found its way into our future with Ultratech cement. No other cement can claim to have the highest 28-day compressive strength, chosen by the very best engineers. Ultratech cement stands the test of time, stronger with time. Protecting every engine across every journey with the globally recognized API certification. Servo Engine Oil, the choice of discerning motorists. From Lanka IOC.
Indian culture is a galaxy of diverse conventions. Flora and fauna. Rituals, cuisines, costumes, artwork, handicrafts, music, the magic of cinema, festivals, folklore, Indian culture, a celebration of diversity.
Join us for the Media Fest.
What an audience. Kudos to the organizers for having all of you here as well. I think organizing an event of this sort takes a lot of coordination. People from lots of backgrounds, lots of media agencies coming together, and two different cultures coming together as well. So thank you so much for being here this evening. We are going to make sure that every second you spend is going to be worth your while. Sri Lanka and India have always shared a warm relationship for centuries. Knowledge sharing, forming mutually beneficial partnerships, economic partnerships, and so on, forms one of the key aspects of this relationship. And now to speak a few words on the inauguration of this iconic event, let me respectfully invite Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, the Acting High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka.
Your Excellency, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, Minister of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Sri Lanka Minister of Culture, Dr. Srinivasa Rao, Minister of Finance, 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 Dr. Srin Mr. Nistar Kasim, Chairman, Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association, visiting experts from Indian media, experts from the Sri Lankan media, friends from media, business community, ladies and gentlemen, Ayubovan, Vadakkam, Namaskar. I must begin by placing on record our gratitude to SLIMFA for a very thoughtful gesture to accord a solemn inauguration, paying respects to the innocent lives lost in the dastardly, inhuman terrorist attack in Kashmir, India. Having said that, SLIMFA owes immeasurable accolades for organizing the only of its kind and first ever media conclave in Sri Lanka today. I'm also thankful to His Excellency Minister for taking his precious time out amidst a very busy election schedule for today's first ever India-Sri Lanka Media Conclave. Honorable Minister, your presence amongst the burgeoning electoral democracy in your country in this Media Democracy Fest is a testament to your commitment to the India-Sri Lanka Media Friendship Association. It is heartening to see a strong delegation of leading media voices from India in this conclave, and it is my pleasure to welcome them. We also have distinguished representation from Sri Lankan journalism and media, as well as business leadership. I'm also thankful to all the sponsors of this first ever conclave. The Media Conclave is unique, in particular in our region and beyond, as it is an initiative by the media and for the media. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been only less than a year since SLIMFA was formed. In a very short span of time, SLIMFA has done a range of activities and engagements, including having intellectual deliberations with visiting Indian journalists and think tankers. While Indian media and journalists have closely followed with deep interest developments in Sri Lanka and on the bilateral front, however, what SLIMFA has been able to achieve and aspires to is to strengthen a bilateral institutionalization of sharing of expertise, capacity building, and challenging jointly new frontiers of technology-enabled media and related ethical conundrums. I'm looking forward to Honorable Minister's remarks today, which I am sure that would really set the ball rolling for the rich conversations which are due to follow in the panel sessions tomorrow. The agenda of conversations have already been shared with all of you, and it really encompasses the range of challenges as well as opportunities for the media in this new technology and capital-intensive age of journalism. The face of journalism and media, including its business and survival rationale, is undergoing a massive transformation. The imperative of private capital in this tech age is irrefutable. Despite the expansive clear benefits the corporatization of media presents, the space for governmental communication, including countering misinfo, disinfo, and fact-checking, perhaps needs to be secured and strengthened. We are confronting situations where false narratives and biases can gain faster pace than the capacities of constitutional and executive authorities. We saw this in a cancel culture in social media spaces, where one of the leading politicians was banned and regained space when the corporate leadership exchanged hands. This is a struggle which will play out across the globe, notwithstanding the nature of political or social ecosystem in the country. The interface of AI and technology with media is only beginning to express itself. We recently saw a trend where Grok was being asked the factual and historical background and context of varied economic and political events or incidences. At the same time, the technology has also enabled fact-checking or community checking in social media spaces. The traditional print and AV media is coming under sharp stress and scrutiny against the agility of new age media and its increasing democratization of information enabled by technology. What technology has also enabled is to carve out a significant space for citizen journalism. There is, of course, an obverse implication as to the enforcement of ethics in an increasingly disparate citizen journalism space. I am glad to note that SLIMFA will be engaging in conversations covering many of these related issues and more. On our part, strengthening media and journalism capacities has been one of our focus areas of cooperation. Independent of notable contributions of SLIMFA, we have sponsored in the last 1 year an exclusive and customized training module for over 20 journalist friends from Sri Lanka last year. This was the first time ever such a capacity building exercise was organized, and therefore it is just a beginning of our commitment in capacity building and sharing of best practices. We also had the pleasure to engage some of the leading social media influencers and content creators and bring them to the story of new and rising Bharat. During the recent visit of our Prime Minister to Sri Lanka and the earlier visit of His Excellency President Anura Kumar Dissanayake, 1,000 and 1,500 training slots, respectively, for Sri Lanka were announced, of which 700 slots are annually. Naturally, these would include possibilities of training for media professionals and journalist friends from Sri Lanka. The platform such as today's, organized by SLIMFA, buttresses our official endeavors to strengthen media space in both India and Sri Lanka. In the end, I wish to again acknowledge and thank Honorable Minister for his presence. I also congratulate Mr. Nisthar Qasim, Chairperson of SLIMFA, and the entire team of SLIMFA for organizing this rich and promising conclave. I am confident that SLIMFA will continue to expand its wing and bring forth more such enterprising engagements. I wish all the eager participants fruitful deliberations during the course of the conclave. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pandey, for those words, and also thank you very much for gracing this occasion. And now we invite another honorable guest who has resolved to elevate the standards of media in Sri Lanka, and that is the Honorable Minister of Health and Mass Media, the Chief Government Whip, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. May I now invite Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa to address the gathering.
Good evening to all of you. Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, Acting High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka. Mr. Nisthar Qasim, President of Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association. Honorable media personnel from India and Sri Lanka, distinguished invitees. First of all, I would like to pay our deep condolences to the victims and who lost their lives during the terrorist attack took place in India. It is with immense pleasure and honor that I address you today at the inaugural ceremony of the Media Fest 2025, organized by the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association. This landmark event marks a pivotal moment in our shared commitment to fostering exemplary media practices and strengthening ties between our two nations. This festival will undoubtedly shape the future of media in our region and beyond. Sri Lanka and India share a deep and lasting bond rooted in thousands of years of shared history, culture, and values. Our connections, from ancient trade routes to the spread of Buddhism, have evolved over centuries, forming a strong foundation for our dynamic modern relationship. This historical connection has fostered a rich and multifaceted exchange within our media landscape. For generations, we have shared news, stories, and cultural expressions through diverse forms of media, from ancient oral traditions to the modern digital sphere. Today, we stand at a critical juncture in the evolution of media. The rapid advancement of technology, the rise of digital platforms and shifting audience consumption patterns present both challenges and opportunities. The way we create, disseminate, and consume information is transforming. It is therefore imperative that we adapt to these changes with agility, embrace innovation, and uphold the highest standards of journalistic integrity. Our response to these changes will determine the future of media and its role in our societies. The Sri Lankan government unequivocally recognizes the vital role of a free, responsible, and vibrant media in sustaining a democratic society. We firmly believe that a well-informed citizenry is the cornerstone of a strong and resilient nation. We are therefore resolutely committed to fostering an environment that enables the media to thrive, operate without fear or favor, and hold those in power accountable while ensuring adherence to ethical and professional standards. In this context, I wish to highlight several ongoing initiatives by the Ministry of Health and Mass Media. We are actively formulating a national media policy and establishing a Chartered Institute for Media Professionals. The Chartered Institute of Media Professionals, Sri Lanka, is a significant milestone in our efforts to professionalize the media industry and elevate it to new heights of excellence. We believe this institute will not only elevate the profession, but also ensure that our media operates with the highest level of competence, credibility, and integrity, both nationally and internationally. In conclusion, I extend my sincere gratitude to the Indian High Commission and the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association for their leadership and proactive initiative organizing this Media Fest. Thank you very much.
And now it's time to dive into something very, very exciting. It is going to be an interesting conversation, and moderating this fireside chat is the Festival Director of the Media Fest 2025, Mr. Santosh Menon, who is also the President of the Lanka India Business Association and a board member of the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association. Now, he chats with the editor of the Financial Times, also senior journalist Nista Qasim, the founding editor and of the Daily Financial Times, and also the incumbent president of the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association.
Beautiful.
Join us for the Media Fest.
You want to sit here? Is this working? Great. So let's start the chat.
Yeah.
You want to test it once, Nista?
Yes, I think I'm audible. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's cool. So let's start from the beginning. Why do we have SLIMFA, and what is SLIMFA?
Okay, SLIMFA is a collective of journalists who had been to India on the invitation of the Indian government for training, for various awareness visits, as well as capacity and skills enhancement. It's one of its kind, I think, maybe first of its kind, and maybe the only similar India and another country media friendship association. So I think we are unique in that sense. Given the close proximity of the two countries, I was wondering why it didn't happen much earlier. Why only last year? Surprisingly, I mean, we never crossed us, but thanks to High Commissioner Santosh Jha and the First Secretary Navya Singla, it became a reality. So it's a case of better late than never. And once we got together, we realized the immense potential. One is the kind of void that we were feeling previously. And then we have about 150 journalists who had been to India on the invitation of the Indian government. So there is a fairly legacy group who have been inspired by Indian development, inspired by Indian people, and the potential to collaborate. So I think that's the origin of Slimfa. Just maybe 1 year next month, and we have come very far. And the broader goal is basically deepen ties between India and Sri Lanka. And the catalyst would be the journalist. And from Sri Lanka, Slimfa is a journalist from Sri Lanka. And then through collaboration, we will try to harness Indian journalists to also promote greater integration between India and Sri Lanka.
So how does Media Fest fit into the overall context of Slimfa's objectives?
Yes. Obviously, being media association, we were looking at what should be the ideal way to achieve some of the objectives. And Media Fest was a small concept we had, and we thought it might be useful to sort of, previously we had invited some Indian journalists to come and talk to the members of the Slimfa. And then we had another think tank to come and have that interaction. Then we thought, okay, what next? And Slimfa the Media Festival idea came up. It was supposed to be among the community of journalists or members of Slimfa and immediate journalists, but then we were impressed by the appeal it has managed to attract by getting not only journalists as well as, but people, other stakeholders like the marketing, PR, communications, corporate communications, and think tanks. So the idea of adding greater value to the community of journalists through a media festival, first of its kind. It's a baby step, I would say, because first, we will know how it is by tomorrow.
Sure. So what can people sitting here who are going to come in for sessions tomorrow, what can they expect?
I would say new knowledge and, of course, networking. New knowledge because we have 4 great speakers from India. They're celebrities in their own right. I sort of looking forward to listen to them. For me, it's the first time experience, and we will have so much to learn from these 4 industry leaders. And more importantly, I think journalists from both countries share common issues or common challenges, developing the relevant content, ensuring that our stories reach the right audiences or more audiences, and also staying financially viable, given the challenges for the media. And Indian media is so dynamic. I mean, it's incomparable. But a small country like Sri Lanka can learn a lot from Indian experiences. And I think tomorrow will be an opportunity to find out how India has managed to how Indian media has managed to sort of develop its own skill set and competence and using technology to achieve what we are trying daily, best content, ensure that it reaches our audiences effectively, and also how do we monetize the content that we are producing. So that's what is tomorrow. But I would say to get the best from the 4, and of course Sri Lankan journalists who are going to be in the workshops, in the breakout sessions, in the panels, will be to engage them, make it interactive. It's a rare opportunity to get all those 4 Indian journalists to come here, Indian leaders, and also to get all the Sri Lankan resource persons like the Sri Lankan experts on mobile journalism, data journalism, fact-checking and all that. So it's a good opportunity tomorrow. And it'll be a day of learning from each side.
And after Media Fest, what's next for Slimfa? What do we do after this?
Well, given the response, we will make Media Fest an annual event, and hopefully we'll try and have it by sometime this time, maybe June next year, maybe. So we will reach out to all the, and of course, trying to make a meaningful contribution through media, through journalists, to deepen ties between India and Sri Lanka. I think media can play a big role. I think the Indian High Commission has identified that role as well, and is our patron in the association. And personally, I feel media can really influence the right policies to ensure that we benefit with each other, from each other. And India is such a huge opportunity for Sri Lanka. There's a lot of misunderstanding, unfortunately. But I think the room for the case for collaboration, partnerships is only obvious from two countries' standpoint. It's the journalists who can sort of maintain that narrative, and of course dispel some of the extremist elements in saying, of not working together with India.
So what has been the support we've got as part of Slimfa from the private sector for making this happen?
Okay, I must acknowledge that originally it was, we were supported by the Indian High Commission and the Minister of External Affairs Economic Diplomacy Division, I would say. That's our, what you call, seed funding. But to do something like this, we will have about 200 people tomorrow. It wasn't easy. So we, of course, reached out to companies, Indian companies like Ultratech, who was, and LIOC. There was no need to convince them about the relevance of the festival. I think they also knew, they saw the value of this festival, and of course the association. Support has been very positive, and one measure of support is, of course, the participation. We are entirely, I think 90% of the participants are from the private sector, and that's the kind of feedback we have got. We're encouraged, actually. I'm humbled by the response, and because being in the inaugural event.
So yeah, I think that kind of covers our conversation. I hope it gives everyone clarity on what you can expect tomorrow. Today is the inauguration, but I think the real engagement and the real stuff happens tomorrow. So thank you so much, Nistha, for sparing the time to come and chat. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I must also stress something, that this is a historic crowd. This is the first ever media festival. All of you are part of this history-making initiative. And it's a small step, but hopefully going forward, as we progress, as we gather strength, we will solve, because this might be the pioneering crowd of Sri Lanka's first ever media festival. And it's a fairly challenging task, but I think thanks to your participation, it is going to become a reality today and tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Seek applause, applauding yourself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome to Sri Lankan Airlines, where service is intuitive and indulgence is encouraged. Our care is inherent. This is where the world comes home. Thank you for flying Sri Lankan Airlines. You're our world.
Once again, thank you very much to Mr. Santosh Menon and Mr. Nistha Kasim for the insightful fireside chat and for highlighting what's going to happen tomorrow as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we officially wrap up the inauguration of the Media Fest, but this is definitely just the beginning. As they mentioned, tomorrow is where the real buzz begins, a powerful keynote address, back-to-back panel discussions, and conversations that matter, featuring some of the most dynamic media personalities from both Sri Lanka and India. So get ready for thought-provoking insights, for creative sparks, and also opportunities to connect with the very best in the industry. So on behalf of the organizers, I'd like to invite you to enjoy some refreshments and also connect, mingle, and network, and maybe spark some ideas for tomorrow. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion, ladies and gentlemen. Have a pleasant evening.